Hey, what's going on, guys? ETP coming at you guys with another video today, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about NBA 2K15 gameplay. Last night we got our full-length gameplay. Ronnie was using the Bulls, Chris was using the Lakers, and Chris pulled away at the end. And the gameplay honestly blew me away. I was expecting a lot from it, but I honestly wasn't expecting this much. Like, it was nearly flawless from this game they played. If I had to pick out any negatives, and they might not even end up being negatives, I would say that there were quite a few moving screens, which I guess can be prevented by just waiting for your guy to set the screen. And then also there were, I think, there were only 3 alley-oops during the game, and they weren't blocked, and then I don't think there were any other attempts at alley-oops. But they said alley-oops can be blocked a lot easier. So other than that, it was flawless. So I wrote down a few of the things that I noticed that I thought were really cool about the game, and I will briefly talk about those. I'm going to try to keep it short because I know I could talk about this for a long time, and I'll try to keep it relatively short. But the screenshots you guys are seeing in the background were just ripped from the stream, so they're not in great quality, but this is 2K15 footage, and that is from the live stream last night, as I said. So I'll go ahead and jump into this list. So the first thing that I noticed after Ernie and Shaq did their little thing was the national anthem. That looks really realistic. You guys saw a screenshot of D-Rose during the national anthem. I think that's going to be a really cool thing, and it adds a lot of realism. Looked great. The crowd, I really noticed that a lot. Even though they had the game volume pretty low, you couldn't hear the crowd too great, I could still notice the ups and downs. Like, if you get a steal, the crowd will get really loud, and then maybe it gets stolen back, and the crowd gets lower, and you can just hear a collective awe from the crowd. It sounds really realistic. I think that's going to add a ton. I can't wait to hear the crowd at full volume once we get our hands on the game. Another thing that I noticed was the rim physics and the rim sound. Like, when the ball hits the rim, it sounds a lot more realistic this year, and it looks a lot more realistic too. Like, you see a lot more of animations from when the ball hits the rim. You'd see a lot more realistic ones. Like, I didn't really think that was a problem in years past. I never thought about it at all. I thought it was good. This year it's definitely an improvement, and that's just a little thing that's going to add to the realism that I think is really good. The timeouts were extremely in-depth. They look generally the same as 2K14 as far as, like, when the players walk over to the bench and they have those little cutscenes showing the players and the coaches talking, drawing up plays and stuff. But they had a ton of options. They have options for individual players. You can set how you want to guard them, whether you want to sag off, whether you want to double them in the post, play them tight, deny the ball, all kinds of stuff, how you want to play screens. It was really in-depth. The points of emphasis looked really good. I can't wait till we get our hands on the game so we can test that stuff out online, see how big of an impact it'll have. But I think strategy will have a huge impact online in 2K15, and that looked really in-depth. Hopefully that'll be kind of fluid to use as well. Hopefully it won't, take a really long time to set all that stuff. I doubt it will. I think that's definitely going to be a big positive for online play and offline play, but mainly online play, I think. There were a ton of great collision animations, like the failed dunks and stuff. There were probably 7 or 8 missed dunks or failed dunk attempts in this game, and that is a great thing. In 2K14, you just got posterized all the time by Jordan and LeBron. Guys would just, when you're playing online, guys would just take those players, drive in, and just dunk on you. That was really an annoying thing, and that they fixed that a lot. Like, at one point in the game, Ronnie tried to dunk with Doug McDermott, and obviously Doug McDermott's not a high flyer at all, and he literally jumped up with the ball in one hand, tried to dunk over a guy, and he just threw the ball over the other side of the rim when he tried to finish the dunk, and it looked really realistic. Like, the failed dunk animations just look absolutely amazing. That's going to be a great thing. It'll really fix the online play. It'll balance things out a lot. And that was probably the biggest positive that I saw from the gameplay. The post play was really smooth as well. Some great post moves. Looked very smooth. The real talk improved, like the halftime and post game interviews. Last year, Doris looked extremely stiff. The players and the coaches looked extremely stiff. It just wasn't very natural. This year, the body language has really improved. They move around more. It sounds a lot more realistic. Definitely looks a lot more realistic. And in my career, once your player gets more popular and establishes himself in the league, they will interview him as well, which is another good feature. The presentation overall was just really good, from the menus to the post game thing where they show the player the game. Everything looked very solid, way better than 2K14 in my opinion. The shot meter was something I didn't even pay attention to. A lot of the guys that were at Team Up were saying you might want to turn off the shot meter because you'll just be focusing on that. I didn't think that at all. Maybe it'll be different while I'm playing, but I honestly doubt it. Like, I didn't even notice the shot meter until like the third quarter, and then I started looking at it, and I don't think it's going to be distracting at all. It'll just provide good feedback, solid feedback. I think that's a positive, and I don't think it'll really throw you off at all. You still got to shoot by what you see on the animation. That'll be your best bet as far as having success, and I think the shot meter is really going to be solid. Won't distract you at all. The announcers I couldn't really hear as well. Because they had the game volume pretty low, as I said. But I know Doris is in the game, Kevin Harlan and Clark Kellogg. I didn't hear Steve Kerr, which is a good sign. There were some rumors that he was still in the game. I don't think 2K would do that. It'd be nice to have a third member in the broadcast booth, but I don't think we're going to be getting that this year. Hopefully we'll get that in future years. But as long as Steve Kerr is not in the game as a broadcaster, I will be fine with that, because if he is, that's just going to be kind of ridiculous, I think. It'll just make things a lot more unrealistic. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is actually really cool as well. There are a ton of new attributes they talked about. This isn't really gameplay related, but Stalf was on the live stream, the roster guy, and he was talking about some of these attributes, and he was saying that basketball IQ is one of the attributes now. I guess they still have offensive and defensive awareness, but now basketball IQ really has a big effect on overall and how you play as well, and that's why Tim Duncan was 90 overall. I was kind of thinking, I don't know if Tim Duncan is really the fourth best player in the NBA, but the reason why his overall is that high is because of the basketball IQ. They added in a bunch of other attributes. They talked about lateral quickness, shooting fatigue, and then another type of fatigue as well. So it's just going to add a lot more layers to it and add a lot more depth, and it'll overall make the game a lot better, I think. So I know this video went kind of long. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Definitely go check out the live stream if you didn't see it. It's archived on their Twitch channel, twitch.tv/2K. Make sure you guys do stay on the lookout for some more NBA 2K15 news dropping later today. They'll be talking about My Park, the unannounced feature. It's going to be awesome. So make sure to follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my channel here for 2K15 content, and I will talk to you guys later.